Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy new start to the week. As in true Monday fashion, we got another Monday market report for the week ending June 4th, 2023. Our first unofficial, I guess, summertime Monday market report. We're going to take a look at the most relevant post-1900 modern graded coins to have sold here in the last 7 days. We have a pretty strong lineup. Some pretty monstrous sales on a few of these coins. Some of them are going to be leaving you scratching your head, as they normally do. You know, this is supposed to be an assault to a few of the senses. And it's no exception that we're seeing some strength in the coin market as we're heading into the summer months. You know, and that's important. That's something that we need to see. Maybe not the overall strength of the coin market, but just overall, just the incredible foundation of the market itself, showing this week on a few very marquee coins. And I would say from top to bottom, we have 20 coins to talk about, all from great collections. We have this healthy mix of registry set coins, which again, they're starting and they're continuing to have this pretty big impact on the modern market. And yeah, we have some amazing coins, by the way. And then we also have a few of the type pieces that we would normally expect to sell for a pretty healthy margin. Where are they sitting at here in the first week of June? All right. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in on this video. It's one of my longest standing normal regular series. I've been doing this for 6 years or so, the Monday market report. So it's been going strong, and I want to thank each and every single one of you. Without you guys, this wouldn't happen at all. So I appreciate all the support. And again, just to reiterate, all of the sales auction data coming from greatcollections.com. They have been by far and away the most reliable source for weekly activity, and that just means that their market share is going up. You know, they're one of the biggest, most prominent auction houses out there. So if you guys have coins of these big pieces that you want to sell, and you know, you want to realize the full potential of the market today, Great Collections, look no further. They are fantastic. In addition, if you're looking to add some pretty big pieces to your collection, Great Collections is also the place to buy. So go ahead and check them out, greatcollections.com. So thank you guys for tuning in. How about we go ahead and jump in to see what's happening here this week. And yeah, you guys take care. Have a great Monday. So we have the first one here. Quite honestly, I've never talked about one of these in the capacity of a Monday market report, nor graded examples, of course. This is a 2009 Denver. This is what they call the birth and early childhood reverse. As you guys know, for the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln Cent series, the Mint produced 4 unique designs for this year in both Philadelphia and Denver Mint for the business strikes. And of course, they also produced some San Francisco's as well for the proof strikes, which were all produced in good old copper, which is nice. I actually like that they did that. But we're beginning to see some activity in the presidency, kind of like this one-shot year type of series for registry sets. And apparently, and I didn't know this, the top grade for this particular coin here, and it is a Denver, is Mid-State 67 plus red. Quite scarce. And I don't know what the deal is as to why that's the high watermark for this coin. You would figure, oh, you know, there's got to be a 68, right? And there's just not too many submissions at the top, which is quite strange. Usually on these much more modern coins, you see a lot more mix. You see more 68s in there. The one grade that is quite a bit more scarce is a 69. So, yeah, this coin right here, definitely on the list for a reason. So 67 plus, the first the first release of this 4 design type year. This one sold for $1,856.25, and we're seeing Lincoln registry set, folks, starting to edge a little bit closer to more modern stuff. You know, we've had a few coins, you know, like 2016 Lincolns that have sold for a few $1,000s based wholly on just the grade itself. So, yeah, it's fascinating to see this evolution. And I would expect we're going to see more much modern Lincolns follow suit. We've talked about this one before. This is the good old Cheerios Lincoln cent. It bears the date 2000. They're all produced at the Philadelphia Mint. And these were available in specially marked boxes of Cheerios cereal back in the day. As the release of the new Sacagawea dollar was edging closer, and people were kind of gearing up toward that. The U.S. Mint had collaborated with, was it General Mills, I believe is the company, for Cheerios. They'd collaborated together to release some of these coins, and each coin is on its own unique card. All right, so the card itself is black in color. The coin is right in the center, and then they put this this film over it. Ironically, the film didn't affect any of the coins whatsoever. You know, sometimes some of these packing materials can have an adverse effect on toning and corrosion and things like that. And actually, yeah, they all seem to survive unscathed. So they did a good job with that packaging material. But how do you get a Cheerio cent? Because you can't send just any 2000 Lincoln cent and say, oh, it's a Cheerio cent, right? Well, you have to send the original packaging. So it's that black card with the coin in the middle. The graders will take it out of the packaging and then grade it. But Mint State 68 red is where you need to be for these coins to be worth a spit. And yeah, this is a registry set target, and it's going to be till the end of time. These coins are actually more valuable than realized. The first one I saw sell, yeah, I don't know, probably a few months ago. I was more than a little shocked at the realized price. This one here ended at $2,432.25. So if you ate your Cheerios back 23 years ago, you know, it might have paid off dividends. Obviously, the big Sacagawea Cheerios dollar is the chase piece, but now we're beginning to realize that these Lincoln cents, you know, might be its own respective little, I guess, lottery find too. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. The next one that we have here, one of the bigger coins of the week, 1973 Lincoln Memorial Cent. I mean, this thing is amazing. Mint State 67 plus red, that's the top grade for this date, respectively. It's a coin that we don't see, or a date rather, that we don't see in the marketplace for registry set, folks. Which explains why this one had a rather overperforming price. This one sold for $4,287.38 by the time the dust had settled from all the bidding activity, and another premier piece is going to end up in a high-end Lincoln cent registry. Not to be outdone, did you guys know that this particular date right here is going to be one of the most powerful of the post 1950, which we consider, I suppose, modern. And then once we get into like maybe the 80s and 90s, it turns over to ultra modern. I don't know. There's really no designated kind of like date range when it comes to what's considered modern to ultra modern. I do know that anything post 1900 is what I personally consider to be like modern era. You have, you know, of course, every single denomination with their respective current designs on them, and then you have one or two obsoletes that are no longer in service before that. But 1952S, Mint State 68 red through PCGS, and this is a much larger coin than some of the Philadelphia minted pieces of the 50s, which I've considered to be the rarest of the rare at the highest grade level. But you might as well add in this San Francisco treat into it. This one ended at $27,562.50. This was my thumbnail for the day, and I think it was appropriate because, yeah, again, the registry set crowd, there's a lot of money flowing into this, and it's a part of the hobby that is for the elite, and I hate saying that because I want to think and say that the hobby can be for anyone. But at the very top, you need to have the capital to support this particular segment of the hobby. And there you go. Case in point. A coin that you could find in a BU roll that you pay $50 for ended at 27 grand. So, yeah, that's crazy, mind-blowing stuff. 1948S, you would think it would be a much better coin compared to the previous state. It's not a mid-state 68, though. It's a 67 plus. Nothing wrong with that. This is going to be a registry set piece all the way. This one right here ended at $1,408.50. I believe 68's the top grade on this. So this is kind of like that next tier grade. If you don't grade 68, you need the 67 plus for it to be a worthwhile endeavor. That is grading coins, that is. You always have to be very aware of what the different tiers are for pricing, and using like the PCGS price guide to realize this. What will make it easier for you to have some sort of success. Because if you don't use it, then you know you're going to lose your mind sending these coins out, hoping for a specific grade, you know, and it's either the top grade or nothing at all, because a lot of these registry set coins have no safety net whatsoever. The 48S you see here is the safety net. All right, so if you don't hit the 68, you definitely need the 67 plus. Now, we're getting into kind of like an era where it's more so for type and just for collecting. All right, and registry sets, sure, they exist in the much earlier dates of Lincoln's, but it's not the most important thing. For example, a 23S is quite difficult to find with a good strike. The obverse is a little bit on the soft side. The reverse is actually very well struck for being a 23S. Grade-wise, you just need one in mid-state, and then you're solid. This one is a 64 red-brown. It's also CAC certified. It's got the green bean on there. And this one ended at $3,093. So that's just a prime example of a coin that has many levels of safety nets. You don't necessarily need that full red specimen, which, by the way, will be tens of thousands of dollars. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's ultimately what you want to chase. But the likelihood that you'll go out there in the wild at a coin shop or a show and actually discover one of these in a high state of preservation is going to be quite the task. And it shouldn't be the bear of, you know, what you're trying to achieve when you go to these shows or shops. You just need to recognize that any mid-state coin from the 20s, primarily Denver and San Francisco minted pieces, are going to be very important to a lot of people. All right. The next one that we have here is actually the last Lincoln sent on today's group. Is another huge one. 1912D. This kind of brings back Stuart Blay, you know, dreams, because that was a monumental sale when it happened a little while back. PCGS graded this one as a 67 red. So full red examples of any branch mint coin from the teens and 20s. Again, that's the big chase, and we're staring at the big chase right here. This one realized $76,275. Again, every bit of the Stuart Blake collection of coins, which are all Lincolns, they all sold for a very high amount of cash. And then here we have another one that, you know, a number of months removed from that particular sale, ended up here. I don't think this is a Stuart Blake coin. It wasn't notated as being such, but just a really high-end example. Right, now we're on to nickels, and the first one up to bat is the 1955 proof. It's the only proof I believe I have on the list, and it's very noteworthy. Now, a 55 proof set is quite expensive compared to anything else around it. Primarily anything 56 and newer, you can still get for around 30-40 bucks. 55, things get a little bit expensive. The mintages drop quite a bit. I think a 55 proof set goes for around 80 to 100 bucks today. But finding one with a deep cameo contrast like you see here, and that's just a really nice, strong, heavy frosting on all of the devices, that's where we need to be on these. And that's ultimately what carries a lot of value into these 1950s proof sets is cameo. It's cameo, cameo, cameo all day long. This one is a high grade, very clean coin too. Proof 69 deep cameo through PCGS. And this one sold for $4,837.50. Now we got a few business strikes to talk about. Here's a 1947S, just a really strong example. Again, these are generally very well struck with good luster. This is an NGC this time, Mid-State 67 with 5 full steps. Good looking coin. Again, there are going to be registry sets that'll want this. This one sold for $1,757.25. We have a few Buffaloes as well. A little bit tougher dates, starting out with a 1930 Philly. NGC got this one as a Mid-State 67, and this is kind of like the gateway date to where it gets really tough to find very well struck, lustrous coins from the 20s and teens. This one right here sold for $1,436.62. And by the way, this is not the top grade for a 30. All right, they go much higher than that. And we also have a 27 Philly as well. A much bigger coin than it looks on its face, because this one has probably some of the best luster that I've seen in quite a while, and they just don't show up, even on Philadelphia coins. PCGS Mid-State 67 for this example. Such a really pretty, very lustrous, satiny looking coin. This one is sold for $2,925, and that is it for that one. And we also have a 1921. Now this one is it's more about the grade and what it is than it is actually the coin. Now don't get me wrong, 1921p Buffalo nickels are, again, they're among that elite group of coins that suffered greatly from strike quality and luster. This one has good luster. It's actually very nice. This is actually a very early PCGS Mid-State 65. This particular graded holder is known as a doily. It's very, very well collected. It's got a doily pattern that is printed on the label paper itself. But they're quite scarce, and it's a specific generation of this holder that is meaningful to graded collectors. Again, the coin can be meaningless. I've seen 38D Buffalo nickels, which is a very common date, high grade date to find. But if it's in a doily, it's worth $1,000 or more. And what also compounded the interest level on this coin is it's got a gold CAC sticker, which is very tough to achieve. And that's a color of sticker from the CAC company that is, it's not one that they hand out regularly. It's actually very, very scarce to see that. So we have the doily, you have a very nice date of Buffalo, you got that CAC gold sticker, and this one ended at $3,039.01. So again, it's 65 in a 1921. Ordinarily is probably what, $1,000 coin, somewhere around there. So it earned all of this extra money because of those other intangibles. And I believe this is the last nickel on the group, 1916. Again, we had P-mints all up and down that made some impacts here this week. This is a Mid-State 67 plus. It shows a little bit of toning on the obverse, more kind of like a golden russet brown toning. Not the most eye-appealing, but it does evoke originality. It's got that original skin to it. It's been untampered, unplayed with, It's never been dipped before, which that's always a worry with some of the earlier date of coins. This one right here sold for $14,400. And again, the price difference between a 67 and a plus, which is generally just a half a point grade higher, is quite astronomical. You know, we're talking a really huge margin of money, while a 67 regular of this date still is worth a few $1,000s. You know, that's still a decent safety net. So really beautiful coin to end up on the nickels here this week. We do have a few dimes. Now this one's here purely for color. It's a 1963, very common date, mid-state 67 plus with a star and full torch. So a very busy label there by NGC. The color is really what got this one. Extra considerations in the auction world yesterday. This one sold for $1,181.28. Okay, keep in mind the date. It's a date that normally doesn't sell for that kind of money unless it's like a 68 or a 68 plus. And we also have this 55S. Now this is part of the Daniel D. Biddle Roosevelt collection. A number of these have sold over the last few months. And it's kind of waning down here on that particular collection. Here's one of the holdouts, 1955S, which some would say is a key to the series. Very low minted date, both in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So, yeah, I mean, you know, this is just a good serviceable piece. 67 full bands is what this one ended up grading at by PCGS. And this one also sold for $1,181, but 25 cents this time around. We also have the 1939S Mercury dime. Again, the toning adds to the allure of this coin, but the grade is really what sets this one apart. Because it's a San Francisco, again, that plays very big into why this one sells for a lot of money in high grades, even though it's just a 39. Mid-state 68 full bands through PCGS, and this one sold for $23,062.50. So another big one here for the week. And 28D, mid-state 67 plus, but no full bands. All right, and it shows that the middle set of bands is very, very, very worn smooth. It's not circulation wear. It's just, you know, the dies. They did not have the defining splits on there just because of the die usage and attrition. CAC green bean as well. Very tough date, might I add, but the crustiness of the toning again adds that originality that collectors yearn for. This one sold for $5,236.88. We have a few quarters and $0.50 to wrap things up for the week. How about a good old 1930 standing lib? Beautiful coin, and if you can own any of these in mid-state condition, you know, pick your poison. 1917 Type 1s are always popular. 28S all the way up to 1930. You know, even a regular 1928 is fine too. You know, try and own one of these mid-state condition. You're gonna have a whole new appreciation for the series, because oftentimes, you know, these are what we call workhorse coins, similar to the Barber series of dimes and quarters and half dollars. They weren't really saved at the highest grade level. So when you do see one that's a really nice mid-state condition coin, it makes you take notice. And again, it's all about their appreciation of it. Beautiful coin, mid-state 67 plus, full head. So it's got a full strike on there. $8,746.88 for the sale. And speaking of workhorse, we got 1901S. Very low minted. This is indeed the key to the series. As a matter of fact, dare I say it, probably the key to the entire 20th century quarter dates. You know, and that's even beating out stiff competition like the 1916 Standing Liberty and a few other pretty big ones. But it tells you a lot when a coin that grades Fair 2, which is considered lowball by NGC, still ends up selling for $3,123.01. This is just a coin that, quite frankly, you could easily find in bulk silver lot, you know, like in scrap constitutional lots. It wouldn't be impossible to find something like this in spite of its very low mintage, but it is surely going to be a win. So, yeah, I want you guys to look at this coin and just kind of etch it in your brain that this one does exist out there in very low grades, and it's a white whale all the way around. And then finally, it's really hard to show up all the other coins this week by just throwing up a plain Jane 1989 Philly candy half dollar. But this one is for a very active and very popular registry set of Kennedys. It's very needed. Mid-State 67 plus 1980s Kennedys have had just a myriad of issues. So anything above 66 is just really tough. And because of that, this one ended at $2,981.25. So, again, more head shakers here, and that's how we're going to end it off. You know, with some provoking thoughts about 1989 candy half dollar. Don't just send out any of them, by the way, because they're, yeah, that's not a grade to try and chase, because you might end up, you know, losing your shirt if you try. But that's it, guys. That's all I got for today. That's the Monday Market Report. On a Monday, for once. Yay. Come check us out on the live coin Q&A. We're going to be back again with another live stream tonight. So it's going to be 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern. We hope to see you there. We have a really big list of coins to talk about, along with some other great stuff. And that's it. I'm your host, Sean, with The Hound. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my videos and my channel if you haven't done so. And I'm also on TikTok at BlueRidgeSilverhound. So you guys take care. Have a great start to your week, and I will see you next time with more coin video shenanigans.